Hi, this is Jim Hamilton with Core Resonance. Today is June 27th, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of information about what I'm doing and what I've been doing, besides writing, which is really what I do. And I'll tell you something interesting about writing. If you will write what's in your head, if you will write to the edges of what's in your head, if you will write to the edges of what you know, what's next will show up. In other words, I wouldn't call it channeling, but I would say that when I start a sentence, I don't know how the sentence is going to end. I do know what I'm doing, but the sentence, I don't want to say it writes itself, but it absolutely does. It absolutely does. I have the gist of what I'm doing, and it's funny how the words form. It's funny how the words show up. It's funny how I've actually made up words and then looked them up and spelled them a little bit differently and got them right. One of them was the word consentience. See if I can remember. Consentience was the word that I came up with, and in looking it up, I found consentience, bill to bill. And consentience has to do with conscious. Conscious and unconscious consentience was the term. I was actually talking about your gaze and how when we gaze unconsciously, we don't realize that we're contributing to reality creating, and that by gazing upon a high school problem or different things that the shootings and this and that, we inadvertently contribute because our nervous system is connected to the cosmos, and by our gaze, by our unconscious gaze, unconscious consentience, we contribute to reality creating. And of course, the gist of the idea that I was writing about, I might have been writing my book, might have been writing Visionaries Thrive in All Times at the time, but the idea of conscious consentience is when we gaze responsibly. We gaze responsibly. In other words, we're aware of the authority and the power we have, and we become reflective in choosing what to put our attention to. So somehow I was talking about writing, and I have done a lot of writing. I've been meditating almost 40 years. I started writing I started Visionaries Thrive in All Times in 2001, April 19, 2001. Finished it and got the book out in February 2005. And what a lot of people want to write, a lot of people want to know how to write. And for just so you know, when you write, what you do is you write. You don't correct yourself, you don't edit yourself, you write. And as you write down the page and down the document, as you run out of steam, then you go back and you clean it up and you push through where you got stopped last time. And so as I talk about writing, what I want you to know is that you write to the edges of what you know. You write, when I say write everything you know, what the heck? Even if your first year of writing is catharsis and release, write everything you know. And what you'll do is you'll end up coming up against a wall of what you know, and then what's next will show up, and then you trap it on paper. That's what writing is to me. And by the way, writing is great. It's definitely better than sex, and the reason it's better than sex is because it lasts a whole hell of a lot longer. Oh, Lordy. So what I wanted to do was, actually what I'm doing here today is I'm testing my camera by sitting back a little bit further. I want to see how it works. I want to see how the voice part works. And I wanted to share with you a little bit of ideas that are going on in my head. I'm going to be doing quite a bit more of this. And once you go to my website, Core Resonance, RESONANCE.com, I've got blogs there. The last half dozen articles are just friggin' awesome. The first one I wrote is called something about the Super Bowl and coherence. What is that article called? Let's see, it's called Coherent Team Plays Together Better? No, that's not it. Yoga, Meditation, Coherence, and the Super Bowl. Do you know that the Seattle Seahawks, which by the way is a very young team, I don't follow football, so I don't know too much about this. I think the average age of the players is under 25. I don't think they've ever won a Super Bowl. And this team of young kids, and I salute them when I say young kids, I mean it in highest regard. these kids are natural meditators. They all meditate, and they all do yoga. And they won the Super Bowl. You know why? Because they go down the team, they go down the field better. In other words, what you have is a bunch of nervous systems going down the field, and the more coherent a nervous system is, the more in tune it is with its surroundings and in tune with what's right. In other words, we can be in tune with all the racket and noise and the dumb stuff that goes on the planet, or we can be attuned to the higher frequencies and the higher realms for which guidance and insight is a better marker for us as we go through our day. And so what we have here was a team that meditates. The whole friggin' team meditates. I think it's outstanding. And they do yoga. And so as they clean up their nervous systems, and I will say that when I had many years meditating myself, for many, many, many years I considered meditation to be the art of learning how to listen with your nervous system. So what you've got is these kids here that are football players, they're in the freaking Super Bowl, they meditate, and they absolutely skunk the Denver, whatever they're called, the Denver Broncos, is that what it is? And it was really, I walked in just before the second half, and I could see very plainly that one team was absolutely heads and shoulders over the other team. Otherwise, I didn't know anything about them, and I ended up watching the whole damn game. I wrote this article shortly afterward, and of course I somewhere discovered that the whole team meditates. So, you know, these discoveries, these things that we see in life, we want to document them for a couple of reasons. One, we document them for our own discoveries about what's true for us. In other words, by evaluating, I won't say evaluating, it's a poor choice of words, by documenting our discoveries and putting them on paper, it brings dimension to them. And like I say, as you write to the edge of what it is you're writing about, you'll have new discoveries. Writing is an incredible adventuring type experience. And with computers, it's so easy. And the other thing is, in writing, we document, we share what we learn. And it's really, really important. So I'm going to let this, I want to thank you for your attention and your time. I want you to go to Core Resonance, check out what I'm doing. I do have a mentoring program starting up. It's going to be 3 90-minute calls a month. And you can contact me if you want to know more about that. My newest article is called, what is it called? Seems like I know the name of my own articles. I just finished it just this afternoon. Rights and Duties, the Big Surprise and Solution. Very great. Very nice to talk with you. Namaste.